Welcome to Swag U. I'm Lance, and I want to discuss with you a little bit right now about what Swag U is all about. And to start, I'm going to talk about our slogan, flow over, flow through. And what this means, flowing over is the way we're going to move over the world. A particular exercise that we can incorporate with everyday activity because it's similar to walking. It's a form of walking that we developed that helps balance out our neuromuscular system and also our autonomic nervous system. So this is important because if we balance out our neuromuscular and musculoskeletal system, we can considerably decrease these gradual little imbalances that occur over time that cause us to develop pain or even damage to various body parts such as the hips, ankles, knees, backs, even shoulders. Then from a neurological standpoint, or one from an autonomic nervous system standpoint, if we move in this particular way that we're talking about with swagger, actual walking piece of it, if we move in that way, we're essentially massaging the vagus nerve. And in doing so, we're helping to bring balance to our autonomic nervous system. And that's that sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system, or that fight, flight system, fight, flight, or freeze, and balance that out with that parasympathetic, which is that rest, restore, and digest, which is what we need in order to rebalance ourselves from the rigors of the day. Now, to get into it a little bit more, let's just talk about this walk that we've been describing. We're going to call this a clinical swagger. Now, what this is, it's a manner of moving, walking, okay, if you will, where we do a few things. We allow rotation of the trunk and hips and spine to occur. We allow or ensure that our base of support, which is our foot, gets underneath our center of gravity, which is essentially going to be just in front of our belly button, okay, if we're moving forward. Now, in addition to that, we're also going to be paying attention to some subtle postural pieces. We'll talk about the alignment, what that should look like and what it should feel like. And everybody's going to vary on this a little bit. And everybody's swagger is going to vary because of anatomical variations that deal with how one body is made versus the other. These genetic little differences that make us all unique. Okay? So everybody's swagger look a little different. What you're thinking of a swagger may be different, and likely is different, than what we at Swag U call clinical swagger. So swagger's been described as showing off or overly confident, that sort of thing. And no, clinical swagger is not about that. Clinical swagger is about balance and a balanced perspective and a balanced way to move. Also, a balanced way to carry oneself, if you will, in society. But in doing this, it really does help us come to balance. And it's an exercise that we can learn fairly easily and incorporate into our day easily. So we talked a little bit about allowing this rotation to occur and getting our foot, our base of support underneath our center of gravity, postural alignment, this sort of thing. And the reason for this is that in clinical practice over 25 years, I definitely noticed how people gradually lose these balances. They become more imbalanced. And this is natural. However, the interesting thing about it is that we can prevent it and unwind it if it in fact has occurred. It actually oftentimes is caused by breathing. And this is described by the Postural Respiration Institute and Ron Haruska and his team of people who have identified this link between imbalances in the diaphragm and then postural aberrances that occur over time and with activity or with injury. But they also show ways that this can be reversed. So I like thinking in those terms, and actually I treat my people with those sort of techniques in part, as well as other techniques. But this is an example of why we all need this sort of thing. And this gradual loss of our swagger, if you will, occurs because of these imbalances with breathing. This thing that we do 24/7, right in the middle of our body with that diaphragm work. Other muscles as well, but mostly that diaphragm. And we can counteract those effects of aging and stress that creates on us. And we can start coming into understanding our physical pains a little bit more, and how these little overloads from these little postural imbalances that occur are causing muscular trigger points in the body. So muscular trigger points are the main reason why we develop pain. And that hasn't been understood. Mainly, what's been understood in our medical community is that we've had to have damage of joints or muscles or tendons or disc or whichever it is that cause pain. Well, we see a correlation that there is damage in a painful area, and we in the past, as a medical society, have explained that those pains and dysfunctions are related to that. And now we're finding that's not true. We see these pieces of damage, if you will, not even really damage, these aberrations in tissue, tears, bulges, whatever, ruptures, degeneration, in people who don't have pain. And we also see people who have pain that don't have these, or people have pain that have these things and get better, but those things never changed. So it's interesting how we can start improving our understanding about that and decreasing the threat level of pain, so we can actually help ourselves recover and become more resilient and move again better through life. Now, how might clinical swagger help someone with anxiety or depression? Well, simple answer is, first of all, we're letting go of a lot of tension. A lot of the cues are designed to, through the body, decrease bodily tension. Secondly, we're also incorporating simple breathing, very simple breathing into this. But then also the motion that we learn to master while walking in this particular way and allowing to happen creates a massage, if you will, of that vagus nerve. That vagus nerve that wanders from our skull down through the neck, into the thorax, to the heart, down through the thorax again, further passing through that diaphragm, and then spreading out to our organs. Now, as we move and oscillate, we oscillate that vagus nerve and we stimulate that balance of it. And in doing so, we're regulating our nervous system by upregulating that rest and restore and digest. And that'll turn down those protective mechanisms, such as anxiety, fear, anger, and frustration. And if you think about swagger, a lot of times you see this way we've looked at swagger in our society is that sometimes it's associated with confidence. And that's what I'm talking about. Is when people are moving that way, they're confident. But we can also use it in reverse. Let's move that way in order to restore our bodily balance. Now, this isn't the easiest thing in the world to learn, but it's not so bad. It takes a little bit of education, a little bit of practice, just like any new skill. It's a new skill, it's a new exercise. And we have videos in place that will help you learn that. We plan on some people having difficulty with it, and we're looking to form some workshops soon. However, we find that most people are going to be able to learn this through the videos. Secondly, we're going to go on from there and teach athletes how they can incorporate this into workouts and how they can use this to help recover. Also, we'll be doing other things other than walking, certain bodily type motions that are our favorites for helping establish a bodily balance. So we look forward to seeing you soon. I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope it takes you a long way. There's a lot that's coming down the pipe. We hope to have podcasts coming soon with different types of practitioners. Our team already has a great team of physical therapists with different backgrounds and particular skills, as well as kinesiologists. We're adding in neuroscientists and psychologists as well in order to help bring us this piece all together and find this neat new way and fun way of balancing our bodies. Look forward to seeing you at Swag U. Take care.